And from a company standpoint, when we're in a particular position, perhaps we want to get to a leadership position as an example. So a client of mine that I worked with wanted to become a leader, and she got promoted, and yet her employees were not respecting her as a leader. And so her choices were, from an outside level, was to change companies. It's got to be a problem with the company. Maybe I should go work at a different company. Or from the next level in, perhaps it's just the bad employees, and I need to go get another group of employees. And from the next level in, we started speaking about her beliefs in being a leader and what her expectations were for her employees. And what came out was that she didn't, instead of what was mirroring, was they were not respecting her because she didn't respect herself as a leader. And so going anywhere else, a different company, a different group, would not have changed that. And so through the work of PERC, which is a twin to CISQ2, it's just different positioning, that what happened is she recognized that she needed to respect herself as a leader. And so through a very accelerated way, we transformed that belief to I respect myself as a leader. And when she did that, what the miracle was all of her employees became much more respectful to her. And so it really was all about her and going into that center and working from that place out, and it changed everything around her. And in the organizational side, in the company side, if we're in an organizational space, an environment that is fear-based, that is micromanaged, that doesn't allow for creativity, then what you get is compressed employees, compressed innovation. And that companies really want innovation, but what they need to realize is they're creating an environment that's not allowing that. And so by stepping from the fear-based traditional way of doing management and leadership and moving over to more of a loved base, which love doesn't necessarily get used very much in business, but that's really the continuum, to stepping over to love, which is growth, which is abundance, and learning and teaching and creating environments that we can work in from that side, we would have the innovation and the creativity, the engagement that is so popular that people want now, but we don't get it because we're not creating the environment of engagement. And so often the question is, well, how do we learn what we need to know to do this evolution? Well, evolution we can learn from nature. And so when we look at nature and we look at history, the indigenous people have been trying to teach us for years to go back to nature. And one of the things that they have often said is that if you go into nature, observe and you will learn. Listen and you will learn. Give and you will learn. Receive and you will learn. And from that learning, then we can evolve. And so we're going to explore evolution from nature at this point. The idea is that within CISQ2 and PERC, we want to invite people to learn and integrate from 11 principles of nature. And in this time frame that we have together, we're just going to quickly touch on 4 of them. The first one is resiliency. And so what is resiliency? It's being able to go from chaos into opportunity, but through that you actually create more energy. You bounce back. You're able to have more energy. And in business, an example of that is the chaos, the greed, the business environment of the economies around the world right now are challenging. And we can either fall in the hole and struggle, and in that struggle, we need to remember to observe and learn, go within and find out why did we create this, and then we can evolve out of that hole. What we learn from that then is we can bridge. So the next time something happens, we don't have to fall in the hole anymore. We can just build this bridge. And often a way to do that is to, instead of trying to create from our own experience, is get together and create from a community so that we can have resiliency in a greater capacity. We can have more energy, and we can bounce back even stronger. Business around the world right now, we're seeing a global evolution of change that's going on. And part of it has to do with taxi services. The taxi service industry began in 1605 in England and basically hasn't changed much until a few years ago when Uber came on to the world. And Uber has changed the entire industry of the taxi service, or is attempting to. What has happened is that they're using technology and their service levels are different than the traditional taxi services. And what's the response of the taxi services around the world? We're having protests, and they're trying to shut down Uber. What adaptation should be used for is to learn. And what the taxi companies could learn from Uber is, instead of trying to shut them down, or any industry trying to shut the other industry down, is let's look at what are they doing and what can we learn from that and how can we evolve. So instead of competition being win-lose, perhaps competition would be learn and evolve. Collaboration. And so in business, go ahead, collaboration can represent a lot of different things. So different companies can collaborate together to create a new product. Different employees can collaborate together. This is an example of a new way of operating within a business in having collaborative workspaces. And in collaborative workspaces, it's proven to increase creativity, productivity, and engagement. However, you do have to have a new mindset to work in this versus a traditional cubicles and offices, because you need to trust who you're working with, you need to be open in your communication, etc. And so there's a shift. We can put these into companies, but we need to shift the employee mindset around it before it's actually going to be successful, or in a very few years they will go back to the traditional model of the environment. From a company standpoint, in a global economy, what we're seeing is, historically, we're focusing mainly on making money, and what that creates is greed and competition, and not looking at the individual, the employees necessarily, or anything else, but just money, money, money. And we actually, then it's either the economy or, go ahead, the ecology. And the ecology is our planet, and it's what we need to live on, and it's what we need to have help us to survive on. And often what we're finding is there's separation instead of interconnectedness in the business arena. It's either money or the planet. It can't be both. It's either the economy or ecology. And what we invite you to do is to think about, it's actually both. It is that we hold in our hands both the economy and the ecology. And in business, there's a coming forth of a concept that instead of just focusing on the bottom line of profit, it's time to focus on what's called the triple bottom line, which is focusing with the people, profits, and the planet. And when we bring all three together, that will create sustainable success.